that exhaust is blowing its tits off.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Is this the rarest scooter in the UK? So this is the Yamaha Slider, and I bought this scooter about a year ago with no MOT and no tax and no logbook. It's not had an MOT and been roadworthy in 9 years. So today we're going to try and get it roadworthy so we can get an MOT, get tax, get insurance, and get this bike back on the road, making the number go from only 21 of these on the road in the UK to 22. That throttle is so sloppy. As you can see, we only have one mirror and it's not very good. It's a bit awkward. I'd rather it be like flat like this end down here, and they just don't look that good. And this one is snapped. It's been snapped off, so I'm guessing the bike was dropped because this brake lever looks a little bit bent as well. But yeah, it's snapped off in there, so we've got to try and extract that stud back out, which might not work, and then hopefully we can get the new mirrors on. Another thing as well would be these plastics right here. So they're not secured right now, they're just on there, so we need to try and get some screws in there and get these held on. Look at all this, what is that? Ugh. We've got to change the headlight bulb. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is this the rarest scooter in the UK right now? So the first thing I want to tackle, because it's just probably the most fun, is the mirrors. They look fantastic. In fact, I'm actually thinking about getting some more of those mirrors with the carbon effect and sticking them on the Typhoon, because look at the Typhoon mirrors right now. They're too far in, they're too small, and they're just no good. So I wanted them for the aesthetic purpose and the fact that I'm going for the whole gold look.
I love gold!
But I just don't think it's viable using them anymore. So we'll probably get some of these DPM mirrors. I feel like that's gonna look a lot better and just be a little bit more usable. I mean, it will actually be there. Yeah, that looks better to me. Broken stud, guessing somebody dropped the bike at some point. We've used some penetrant spray, high performance penetrant spray. I sprayed this on here a few days ago, let it sit in there, and we just sprayed some more on it now, and it's disappeared again, so I'm guessing it is sinking in there. And I'm just gonna go over the top of this right here, or try to at least, and just see if I can flatten it out a little bit. So now we can hopefully drill into this and then give me somewhere to get my extraction tools in to take it back out. It's looking pretty good. We're getting pretty deep in there now. And then we'll try and use a stud extractor to get it out. Oh, it's loose. It's just come loose, it's come loose. Great, okay, so, great, so that should come out nice and easy. These are my stud extractors, and as you can probably tell from the set, one is missing. I've only ever tried to do this once, and as you can tell, I made it way worse. I snapped off a stud extractor. Bear in mind, these things are a much stronger metal than your average bolt. So trying to remove one of these and being able to drill into it is one thing. You can't really remove this. If you snap this off into something, it's such a hard steel or whatever it's made of that it's very difficult to get back out. So I tried to extract a bolt once, and yeah, I snapped this off into an engine block and made it way worse. This is looking good though. I might even not need any tools, just literally just this, and then just twist, and it should just hopefully come out. Why is it going further in? Huh? It's just going further in the hole. What the hell? Where is it going? These are supposed to bite and then bring it out, but it's just sinking further and further in. It's gone way down in there for some reason. Which way is the thread on this? Oh, that goes in. What? This is the backwards thread. It goes in, not out. I am very confused. How do I get that out of there now? How does that make any sense? What? So a stud extractor, which is supposed to bite as you undo, it goes in as you take something out, has gone and obviously sent that further in, which I didn't expect. We're just using a slightly bigger drill bit, again going clockwise, which should be sending this nut in, but it isn't obviously because it's backwards. And we're just using a slightly bigger drill bit to try and bite onto it and draw it out. Basically like stud extracting. And it's coming out, we've almost got it. Jesus Christ, that was really in there. Yes, we got it. They come with adapters. Now for some reason, there's only 2 mirrors, but there's 3 adapters. So clearly the world knows something I don't, because obviously one of these, only one of them out of 3 is backwards thread. Turn this anti-clockwise. it goes in. What the hell? Mind blown, but okay. Oh, I'm well happy. I'm so happy right now. Oh, these are gonna look so good. Look how nice they are. Look at that design right there. It's like fake carbon, genuine fake carbon. Oh man, these look good. These do look good. And then we'll tighten this up properly in a moment. Can we just... Yes. Look at this. Look at that. Oh man, I'm well excited. This is gonna look mint. Yeah, it's good to know that they account for everything and that this kit actually does suit this bike regardless, because I thought for a second there it wasn't gonna work. That looks good. That looks smart. It doesn't look goofy like normal mirrors usually look goofy. So one thing I want to point out as well is the fact that we're getting this ready for its MOT. Mirrors are not a legal requirement. You don't have to have these at all on your bike to pass an MOT, a road safety test in the UK. These are not a legal requirement, but as a rider, I would say it's best to have mirrors on your bike, especially functional ones like on the Typhoon. They're not very functional. And I have to like move my body out the way while I'm riding to try and use them, and they're so small that you just can't really see anything. So you look over your shoulder, you know, to do your lifesaver as they call it, to give proper due care and attention on the road. And there's a police officer behind you. As you do that, you then look suspicious. You're giving proper due care and attention, which if you don't do, if you don't use your lifesavers and you ride like a knob, they'll say, oh, was you riding without due care and attention? And then you'll get points and a fine. And then if you do ride with due care and attention, you look suspicious and you'll get points and a fine. So yeah, mirrors, decent, you want them on your bike. So next up, it's the rear brakes we're going to change. Now, I wanted original OEM brakes, but I couldn't find them. I couldn't even find a brake cable for this bike on the website I used to get all my parts from. So we've got these rear brakes, stage 6. I wanted OEM. Couldn't get OEM either, so we'll settle with stage 6. But when I was out on this bike and tried to use the back brake when I needed it most, if you catch my drift, the bike nearly flipped and it didn't really work. So these I'm hoping will be a good replacement, but they're not OEM, so we'll see if they're any good and if they do the job. I would like a new cable. We're gonna probably have to try and find one somewhere else online and change that at a later date, but I think we're gonna have to remove the exhaust today to get this wheel off, but let's find out. Another thing as well actually is the way that this bike sits. It's already on the back wheel, whereas look at that one, back wheel's off the ground. When I take this back wheel off, what's going to happen? Hopefully the bike stays leaning that way. That is on there very, very tight. Damn, that is tight. Off you come. There it goes. Yeah, we're laughing. We are laughing. What was that? Oh, there it goes. Just come on. Yes. Hey, I don't think that steel's doing its job. We might need a new exhaust gasket. And the bike's staying in the air. Good. These shoes don't even look that bad. Seems a shame to replace them. Yeah. Everything's kind of like covered in red paint, have you noticed? So something's had a respray at some point. There we go, we can get that out of there. I mean, that's moving pretty free. We'll give this a good clean. But I want to take note that there's like a tooth missing right there, and that's the way it came out. So we'll put it back in that way. Clean this up. This is what we're going to use. Red rubber grease, ideal for automotive brake assemblies. That's all that matters. That's all you need to know. So that's what we're going to use, not copper grease. We don't use copper grease. Let's get this pin lubricated up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, nice and smooth. And then we'll stick a little bit on here as well. Okay, so just like that. That's one half. Oh yeah, hey, was that? No way. Damn, that was easy. That was easy. Look at that. That was easy. Yes. Okay, whoa, hold on. Sun's out. Shades on. That's what I'm talking about. But I would like to try and get a replacement cable for this. Oh yeah, that brake's doing nothing. Now what I like to do is just get these as tight as I can, really closely adjust until the point that the wheel stops spinning, and then back it off. So yeah, that's a bit too tight. With them being brand new brake shoes, you're gonna have to keep adjusting them for a couple of weeks maybe, because they're gonna engage in one little very small spot until that wears down. So you'll find that you're keeping on top of your brakes, adjusting them quite often when they're brand new for a little bit until they start to balance themselves out. That's pretty loose, so we're going to get it a little bit tighter than that. Yeah, that's starting to bind. That'll do, that's fine in my opinion. That's tight. Whilst the exhaust's off, I'm just going to stick this in there, this lighter, and just burn any excess oil and fuel. Yeah, did you see that? I did a little backfire. It's clean and clear, good. So when we try and start it up, hopefully it's not flooded or anything. But she does need properly riding and tuning and dialing in. We just spent a long time last year getting her running because it's chasing lots of issues. When I bought the bike, it ran but then cut out. When I got it home, it wouldn't start at all. We looked for air leaks and we found a few air leaks. We fixed that. Still wouldn't run right though. It would start and then it would cut out and then it wouldn't start again. After changing everything, spark plug, CDI, coil I think up here we changed as well, behind the plastics, we changed all sorts. It ended up being the carburetor, which was a new carb that came with the bike. We took the old carburetor, 17.5, off of the Typhoon, because I didn't need it anymore. We have a Topolini CP21 carburetor on there, so we used that and it fixed it. It was just a carburetor issue all along. Right, let's get the exhaust back on. If you look at the size of this exhaust port, big open circle, and then if you look at the port inside there, it's like a half a circle. We'll see some major power gains when we change this to a 70cc, and I'll be going all out this time, getting the strongest kit I can get because I want wheelie power. That's what we want. And the Stage 6 street race kit said wheelie power, but it didn't deliver. Polini Corsa, Stage 6, Mark II, whatever it is, the strongest one of those two, or maybe a Molossi kit.
That exhaust is blowing its tits off.
Can you tell it's blowing? Can you tell it's blowing? Well guys, I found the problem. The gasket wasn't seated correctly. Yeah, we can't use that now. That's squashed real nice. Oh, I definitely did it tight, so that's good. There we go, now it's seated. This might actually still be usable. This might still be usable. Let's find out. Let's hope so. Okay, let's hope so. We don't want the video to end in disaster because I'm an idiot, do we? No. We want to see success and triumph. Yeah, that sounds better. It's not blowing as much. I don't think it's blowing at all, to be honest, but it's hard to feel air coming in that area because the fan's blowing air through the casing and I'm feeling the fan blowing a lot of air. So it's hard to tell if the exhaust is blowing, but I think it might be okay. So I found the user's manuals online for both of these bikes and it tells you everything, like every torque spec, what oil to use in your gearbox, and it says to actually warm the bike up like how you would do with an engine oil change on a car, get it warm and then change the oil. So we'll do that, we'll get it warm. Yeah, she's running quite reliably now. She starts. It was a nightmare to get it started in the past, but it's obviously very wet with oil. Maybe the cylinder kit needs replacing. The funny thing is though, that scooter, the Yamaha Slider, came with an entirely spare engine. I bought the scooter and got a spare engine for a good price, a very good price. We'll get another cylinder kit at some point anyway. What I might do, I might build the spare engine into the full 70 build, and then we can just use that and throw it straight in, take one out, put the new one in ready to go, and both scooters are then rideable in the meantime whilst I'm building the engine, which is just great. That's really great. So that just falls off nice and easy. We've got a gasket on here. Made in Italy. This is a Japanese bike. Belt fitment's not bad. Pulley does look quite small compared to what I've been playing with, what came off my bike, and looks like we're not getting full travel over here on the variator, but that's not bad fitment. Okay, I think this right here is the oil bolt, and we're going to see if the oil comes out now. Yep, there it is. Yeah, that oil doesn't look great. Looks like Coca-Cola. Should we have a little bit of taste? It's not that warm. Do a taste test, see how it is. I'm not tasting it, that was a joke. Don't taste test your oil. I'll be an idiot. And here's the fresh oil, which I know is definitely not the right grade. I looked online on the user's manual and the grade was quite thin, but this is pretty much generic oil that works, and it's thicker, which is better in my opinion. So it's 75 W90. It's significantly thicker, I believe, than what we did have. Like that, just a little. Let it just flush out any other crap that's in there. We'll stick the full amount of this in here. Should be fine. Very, very clean. Look at that. Look after your gears, guys, because a lot of people neglect this part of it. It's the only oil change you've got to do on the scooter, and it takes, what, 5 minutes? Just do it. FT, guys. FT is the best torque setting and the only torque setting you really need on most things on a scooter. If you don't know what FT is, it stands for tight. Easy peasy, Japanesey. I'm getting on the Japanese bikes now, guys. Some shims on there. It's been shimmed a little. It is stock standard. That is small. They are terrible. Look how small those clutch shoes are. They're terrible. Standard spring, standard clutch, all that standard. Absolutely no wiggle at all. Like with the Typhoon, you get a wiggle in your shaft because it sits into a bearing over here on the casing. This doesn't have the bearing. It can just, you could run this basically without the casing on. You can't do that with the Typhoon. Looks like we're not getting full belt travel though. So maybe the rollers are too light. The rollers, I can already tell just by looking at them, are a different size than what I use. So I'm gonna have to either change this variator for one that uses the current rollers that I use, or get all new roller sizes. We're gonna change this for the stage 6 variator, I think. Not the oversized variator, just the regular one. God, they're tiny, they're so weird looking. They look good though, no flat spots. 6 grams on the dot. On the dot. Damn, they're accurate. Yep, it's a stock bike, completely stock. Almost a shame to modify. Now, it's near enough impossible to test these belts side by side, but we don't have any markings on this really that can tell us the size. Open it up, get the belt in. So again, before I said in my last video, words facing up in your direction, readable in your direction if there's no arrows. I just realised this is dug out as well. Move the belt out of the way. Ah, you see that? Move the belt out of the way and it sits further on. But I just want to see now if that's made the belt sit where it's supposed to sit, and if we can just check the belt fitment real quick. Why do you need a gasket on this? Does anyone know? I've never had a gasket on the Typhoon. Yeah, that belt fitment in there is honestly terrible, probably worse than it was. That is really bad, oh my God. Might even put the standard belt back on, that's really, really bad. So I measured the belts side by side, pulled them as tight as I could to try and get them accurate and even. And yeah, the original belt is way longer than the longest belt I could find from my supplier. So that sucks, but check this out. Remember when I said that in the user's manual, it tells you about the oil and all things like that. See this channel right here? See this channel all the way around? Do you know what that is? That channel right there is for your bike lock to go into your bike chain. It's a security channel. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I didn't know that. I never would have known that unless it was for the user's manual. Pretty cool. So we're gonna put some more fuel in this because I don't know if it's got any in. That looks pretty full actually. My concern being that the fuel gauge isn't working. So that might be the next thing, is to tackle the fuel gauge and find out why that's not working. So where is the fuel sender unit thing on this? And how do I fix it? Questions that need answers, guys. There's only one more thing to do, and I think this bike will be ready for its MOT. So that's full beam, and that should be dip beam, and it's not. My camera died again, but it's just 4 screws, 2 underneath and 2 on top, and then that gives you access to the headlight in here. Twist that out, give it a pull. Yeah, as I said, see how you've got a spring in here and a little adjuster for the headlight to adjust the headlight. The other bit just sits in there and that's it. Not a very good design, I guess. And then we've got this replacement bulb, which is actually smaller and blue. It'll be white when it's lit up. It's got some broken element stuff all. Yep, that is fully broken. That looks much better with the small bulb in there than the big circle one that we had, and it should be a nice colour. It should be nice and bright, hopefully. So let's check and see if this headlight works. Yep, so the headlight works perfectly fine. But yeah, that's it, guys. She's done. She's ready for an MOT now. She obviously needs a very good clean. But the mirrors look good, don't they? Look how good their mirrors look. That looks fantastic. Side light, brake light on both sides, left indicators. Yep, they're both working. Right indicators, both working. Full beam and dip beam works. Horn works. That's it, she's done. She's ready. Ready for the MOT. She's ready. I'm really looking forward to it. all my new parts have come for the Typhoon, so tomorrow we'll be doing that, which is the bigger rollers, the heavier rollers that I said I needed for the overrange kit. We've got them now. We've got new contra springs, stiffer ones, so we can try them as well. I've got a new suspension, rear suspension shock to put in, so we're going to do that as well tomorrow. Do another ride out, see if the bike is finally as good as it's going to get, unless we would change that cylinder kit for a more aggressive one. So we're going to have 2 running bikes finally on the channel. Hopefully we can maybe look at getting another one. I need to get a van, ideally, so I can pick up bikes instead of renting a van out every time I want to go and purchase a scooter. But yeah, it's going to be good fun. Guys, if you've enjoyed the content, consider liking, subscribing, commenting, the usual stuff. But also now, we have YouTube memberships that you guys can pay into, and it will give you early access to my videos before anybody else, as well as access to a private members only Discord channel where you can post what you're working on, pictures of your parts, your bikes, everything you've done, but also speak to me one-on-one in voice calls, video chats. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Put the team on my back. Never fold, never crack.